Always alone. You will always be there. Always alone. You will always be there.
Hello friends, welcome back to Living with Cambriea, and welcome if you are new. So today we are doing another episode in my Hoarder series. If you didn't watch last week we tackled the master bedroom, and today we are tackling the basement. So she is actually a photographer on the side and has been wanting to turn this basement into a studio for her. The issue was she not only had a bunch of their stuff that needed to be gone through and organized, but she also had stuff from her sister and her brother. So today we are tackling everything, getting it organized and into the room on the other side of the basement, but we don't just want to throw it over there. We want to make sure everything gets put away in a neat and orderly fashion. We don't want to cause more headache in the future. So if you guys are in the need for some extreme cleaning motivation and you need some motivation to get up and get moving, throw this on your TV and let's get to it.
Always alone. You will always be there. Always alone. You will always be there. Always alone. You will always be there. Always alone.
So if you have watched my videos, you've heard me say this before, but if you are new here, one of my big things in the beginning is my organized chaos phase. I always say how things actually get worse before it gets better because I'm pretty much just going through everything and trying to get it in areas that make sense. They're all with like items so that we can do things as easy as possible. We did work with some of the bigger items first since her husband was home when we started the day, but then we knew he had to go off to work. So we did kind of play around so that the things we knew we wanted his help with, he was there for. It's kind of different because often you guys don't see the husbands because either they're working when we're filming or they're taking care of the kids while we're trying to get stuff done. But today you'll actually see him a decent amount coming in and just helping us move the things that is just a lot easier for a dude to do.
I'm losing sight 'cause I am falling. I'm so deep down, and it's not a lie that I die. I can't hide what this is. Yeah, I keep drowning in those blue eyes, and you can tell me all of your lies. I will put out all of the fire if it gets too dark. I'll be your light. Be your light. I'll be your light.
So I do like to vacuum in the sections, especially if I know things are going back over here. So in this situation, we want to use the wall for some of the bigger furniture pieces that she uses as different props and things like that. So do a quick vacuum over here. That way we can move stuff. It just makes it easier. And then when you're all done with the room, you can do a vacuum over everything, but you're not worried about missing the stuff that's under the furniture if you've already vacuumed it before putting stuff back.
Out of the fire, we stumble and fall. And it's not a lie that I die. I can't hide what this is. Yeah, I keep drowning in those blue eyes, and you can tell me put out all of the fire if it gets too dark. I'll be your light. Be your light. I'll be your light. If it gets too dark.
Now, one big thing to do when you're going through stuff is try and go through every box. Now, obviously, when you go through some stuff, you're going to have boxes that might already be organized, but it's still good to check and then label. I don't often show this process, but labeling is so important, especially here when we are dealing with stuff that's hers, her brothers, and her sisters, and it's still all going into this back room, is we're making sure to label it. That way, when her siblings are able to come and get their stuff, not only is it nice and organized, but it's easily labeled and easily accessible.
Be your light. Be your light. I'll be your light. If it gets too dark, I'll be your light. I'll be your light. Your light. I'll be your light. If it gets too dark, I'll be your light.
Want your kisses in the morning light. Wanna be next to you every night. No, I shouldn't love you, but I might. 'Cause your lips, they taste like cherry wine. You're no good for me. We're so bittersweet, but I still want you. I do. Baby, can't you see what you do to me? I just can't resist you. You got me drunk in love, I can't sleep. I need to sober up from this dream. But I can't deny you. I can't deny you. I can't deny you. Na 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 Stay with me until tomorrow. Could you be the one to kill?
So on this side of the basement, pretty much everything was her sister's. So we wanted to go through because nothing was very organized when it was packed and just kind of thrown down here. And since we had nicer bins from going through the bedroom, we wanted to get rid of the the paper boxes and put them all in plastic bins. If you guys live in a part of the country that doesn't have basements, basements are one area. They're awesome for storage, but a lot of times, especially in older homes, they can get moisture and stuff. So plastic bins here in Wisconsin with basements are very important if you want to store stuff, but you also don't want to get it ruined. So we are just going through everything, making sure it's organized, and then out of the paper boxes. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Now, I have to say, one thing I love about helping other people out is seeing everyone's style. I am obviously more of a simplistic, minimalistic type style, even when it comes to colors and everything. But I am definitely someone that can appreciate all styles. Like, it may not be for my house, but I love and appreciate all the styles. And this is definitely more of a eclectic, bohemian, hippie type style. And it's very much what my sister is into. And I really enjoy just like seeing the different things that people are interested in is just very fascinating and kind of fun for me. So I know I mentioned in the beginning how I asked her what she wanted this room to be for, and she said a studio. That is something I always ask the people I'm working with is, what do you see this room as? What do you want to use it as? I feel like those are things that are very important, one for motivation, but also just to keep you on track of what you are doing. If you have a vision in your head of what you want the space to look like or what the functionality of the space is that you want it to be, those are all things that'll make it a lot easier down the road as you're working to be like, all right, I want this to be for a workout area. So you know kind of how you want things laid out, how much space you're going to need. Or if it's purely, I want this for storage, but you can kind of envision, okay, how do I want this to look? How do I want this to feel when I come down here and I'm looking for something?
I'm so good at pretending. Keep on smiling in my tiny bubble, like a movie without ending. Spending time like it was going backwards. Bruises covering our walls, but they fall down. Diving deeper in the books that we read blind. Breathing in and breathing out to get smarter. Not working out for me, yeah. Got no money on my mind, tell my mommy I'm alright. Even laughing at the jokes you tell me. Keep myself inside the lines, neat and tidy all the time. If you ask me, I am fine. Got no money on my mind. Repeating patterns like the others.
So I know here it kind of just looks like we're kind of throwing stuff out of these bins, which can seem kind of crazy, but these were the bins we knew were not organized whatsoever. So we are putting them in piles of like items. So fabric, clothing, things like that that need to be washed, we were going to put in one bin. That way she could wash them before putting it away. So that's what I'm doing here. All those pieces that she wanted to wash, she wanted in here. And then things like knickknacks and home decor in one pile, books in another. That way it's very easy to pack them back in the bins, but in an organized way. A part of the reason this kind of got crazy is her sister was coming over looking for things and couldn't find stuff. So everything's getting pulled out of bins because she couldn't find what she needed while it was being stored at her sister's house.
Don't you worry about me. If I keep feeling like I'm missing something, don't you worry about me, yeah. Don't you worry about. Got no money on my mind, tell my mommy I'm alright. Even laughing at the tricks you tell me.
Now, books are very interesting to me. So nowadays, I highly recommend taking advantage of a local library if you have one, because a lot of times we get these books, we read them once, maybe twice, and then they just go into storage. And I'm the same way. I hate getting rid of books. Like, I don't know, there's just something about just getting rid of books that it just hurts my soul. However, I would highly recommend, if there's a book you want to read, getting it from the library, and then if it's a book you know you're going to probably read over and over again, buying it that way. Nowadays, with the internet and all these things, it's a lot easier to listen to books and things like that in other ways instead of just creating clutter in your life. So, highly recommend looking into any of those online, what are they called? The book reader things. I'm like totally not thinking of the word, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. And library cards, because that is going to be one way you can see if you like a book, and if it's going to be a book you want to read over and over again, then buy it. But let's test it out before we create more clutter and chaos in our homes. So, while wrapping up these knickknacks, we actually didn't have a ton of wrapping supplies, but we did have things like leather pieces from stuff that she did and stuff like that. So, don't feel like you always have to go out and buy things. In this situation, we put certain things at the bottom and then added to the top half. This was just so stinking cute. She saw me putting stuff in the box, so she kept going and getting yarn out of the yarn box. One, to eat. she's a 1-year-old. It's to be expected. And 2, to keep putting it in the box. I was just dying watching this little girl. She's just so sweet.
You gotta understand that we get one chance, one chance. You will never regret the things that we'll do. 'Cause I wanna drive through the summer night. And when we are old and gray, we'll look back at this summer night. This summer night, this summer night. Sleeping in the back of a van, roaming in the wilderness. We don't ever need a plan. We'll be alright, just you and I. Singing from the top of our lungs, dancing by the lakeside. Gonna do it while we're young. In a moment it will all be gone. You gotta understand that we get one chance, one chance. You will never regret the things that we'll do. 'Cause I wanna drive through the summer night. And when we are old and gray, we'll look back at this summer night. This summer night, this summer night. This summer night, this summer night. Someday we will look back, and our hearts will be whole again. I want to remember all that happened to us. 'Cause I wanna drive through the summer night. And when we are old and gray, we'll look back at this summer night. This summer night, this summer night.
Now, often when I'm vacuuming, people ask me what type of vacuums I'm using. I always use the homeowner's vacuum. Reason being is with most vacuums being canister vacuums, I don't want to be bringing the dirt or allergens from my house to someone else's, or vice versa. I don't want to bring the allergens from their house back home. This house being a perfect point of they have a bunch of cats. My husband's allergic to cats, so I wouldn't want to have the chance of bringing home any dander or anything like that could end up having him have a allergic reaction. So I always use the homeowner's vacuum. If you are in the market for a vacuum, I highly, highly, highly recommend any of the Quantum X. It's a water filtration vacuum, or Shark. Those are my 2 absolute ride or die vacuums.
Wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine. Wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine.
Well, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I was super, super happy with the way everything turned out. We were able to get all of her props to one side of the basement, her backdrops and lighting for photography in another area. We did leave the Christmas out since, well, it's that time of year. So instead of putting it in back where she'd have to go and get it, just leave it out and her husband can bring it upstairs for her. And then the bins all the way to the back by the stairs, those are garbage that has to go upstairs. So those are all going to be gone as well. And then in the back, we have it all organized in bins. And I actually have footage to show you guys of a closet area that is all her and her husband's stuff. And then she has an area where she put her brother and sister's stuff to make it real simple. So this closet right here has all of their personal things. And then the other stuff is going to be her sibling stuff. But if you guys made it this far, drop me just stay clean with me down below. I love knowing who makes it to the end because you guys are such a huge support to me, and I love you guys so much. I don't think I can say how much I appreciate you guys enough. But until next time, bye.
Wanna move my feet.